All right, let's dive into a book that has seriously changed the game for so many people when it comes to productivity. The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. You know that feeling of being completely swamped by your to-do list, overwhelmed, like you're busy all day but not actually getting anywhere? Well, this one's for you. We're going to break down the simple truth behind getting incredible results.
Yeah, let's just be real for a second. We've all been there, right? You're staring at this to-do list that's just a mile long. You spend your day just frantically checking off boxes, putting out fires, answering a sea of emails. You feel super busy, but at the end of the day, you kind of sit back and think, did I actually do anything that really mattered today? That feeling? That's exactly the problem this book tackles. It says that your to-do list, the way you use it now, isn't helping you succeed. It's a trap.
So here's a wild idea for you. What if everything you've been told about being productive, all the habits you've built, what if they're actually holding you back? What if the common wisdom about success is just a bunch of lies? It sounds pretty crazy, I know, but the book makes a really strong case that these ideas are misleading us, they're scattering our focus, and they're pretty much wrecking our best plans. So let's start digging into these so-called truths.
Okay, first up, let's dismantle these myths. This first part is all about the big lies of success. These ideas we all kind of believe that stop us from focusing on what actually gets results. You know, Mark Twain had a great quote about this. He said, "It ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so." And that, right there, perfectly describes these lies.
The first lie, and honestly, it's the biggest one, is this idea that everything matters equally. I mean, in a world of constant pings and notifications, it's easy to fall for this one, right? That urgent email feels just as important as that huge project that could actually change your career. But when everything feels urgent and important, you just end up spinning your wheels. You're super busy, but all that activity has nothing to do with real productivity.
So, what's the truth then? Well, it's something you've probably heard of, the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule, and it's so powerful. It basically says that the majority of your results, like 80% of them, come from a tiny minority of your efforts, maybe just 20%. Think about it. Maybe 20% of your customers bring in 80% of your business, or 20% of your workouts give you 80% of your fitness gains. The key takeaway is simple. Not everything matters equally. There's a vital few things that drive almost all the success, and our job is to find them.
And just look at the difference here. This is the big shift. Your normal, messy to-do list becomes a success list the second you apply that 80-20 rule. A busy list is long, it's scattered, it pulls you in a million directions. A success list, it's short, it's super focused, and it's built around that vital few, the stuff that really moves the needle. It points you in one single powerful direction. That's the difference between just being busy and actually being productive.
Oh, multitasking, the skill we all love to put on our resumes, right? We've somehow convinced ourselves that it's a good thing, that we should be doing it all the time. But here's the hard truth from the book, and the science backs it up. Multitasking is a complete and total lie. It's not a skill. It's just a great way to mess up several things at once. It's actually a recipe for getting less done.
See, here's the thing. Your brain can't actually focus on two complex things at the same time. It just can't. What you're really doing is something called task switching. Your attention is just bouncing back and forth, really, really fast. And every time you switch, you lose a little bit of focus and time. It can actually make complex tasks take twice as long to finish. It's not efficient at all. It's a total productivity kill.
Okay, so now that we've busted some myths, let's talk about the core idea of the book. And it's all wrapped up in this really cool metaphor, the domino effect. This is where you see how those huge, extraordinary results are actually created.
Get this. This is a crazy fact from a physicist. A single domino can knock over another domino that is 50% larger than itself. Just think about that for a second. It doesn't just knock over another one its own size. It can knock over something way, way bigger.
And the implication of that is massive. It means you're not just setting off a simple chain reaction. You're starting a geometric progression. Things get bigger and bigger and bigger, exponentially. This is how success builds on itself. It's how one small, well-aimed action can lead to something unbelievably huge down the line.
And just look at this scale. It's mind-bending. Imagine you start with just one little 2-inch domino. By the 18th domino in the line, you're knocking over something taller than the Leaning Tower of Pisa. The 23rd domino is taller than the Eiffel Tower. The 31st, taller than Mount Everest. And domino number 57 would be tall enough to basically reach the moon.
It's incredible. And it all starts from that one single push. So here's the big lesson. Success is sequential, not simultaneous. You can't just jump to the giant domino. You have to line them up and knock over the first one, which knocks over the second, and so on. Extraordinary results happen when you find that one right thing, that lead domino, and give it a push. Your entire job is just to find that first domino.
So, how do you find that first domino? How do you figure out what your one thing is right at this moment? Well, that brings us to the most practical tool in the entire book. It's called the focusing question, and it's basically your compass for cutting through all the clutter and finding total clarity.
Here it is. This is the question you need to burn into your brain. What's the one thing I can do, such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? This question is pure genius. It does two things at once. It forces you to aim high and identify what really matters, but it also forces you to drill down to the one single action you need to take right now to get there.
Think of it like a giant filter. You can pour all the things you could do into the top, all the ideas, the tasks, the worries, and this question filters it all out until only the one thing you absolutely should do is left. It helps you find that lead domino, the one action that's going to make everything else either fall into place or not even matter anymore.
And what's so cool is how you can use it for anything. You just adjust the focus. For my job, what's my one thing today? For my health, what's my one thing this week? For my finances, what's my one thing this year? You can zoom out to your biggest life goals and then zoom all the way back in to find the one thing you need to do right now. It just brings clarity to everything.
Okay, but let's get real. Knowing your one thing is one thing, but actually doing it, that's a whole other ballgame. So the final piece of this puzzle is building a system to protect your one thing and make sure it actually gets done. We have to move it from just a good idea to something that is actually happening.
And the main strategy here is something called time blocking. Now, this is not just adding it to your to-do list. This is literally opening up your calendar and making an appointment with yourself to do this work. It's a non-negotiable block of time, and you have to protect it with a vengeance, just like you would a meeting with your boss or a flight you have to catch.
So this is what a really purposeful day starts to look like. It's not about giving equal time to everything. No. It's about giving a disproportionate amount of your best time to your one thing. The book suggests blocking off maybe up to 4 hours every single morning for your most important work. You know, Stephen King famously writes for 4 hours every morning, no exceptions. He didn't get the luxury to do that because he was successful. He became successful because he always did that. The habit came first.
The point here is that this time is sacred. It's for deep, focused work. No emails, no phone calls, no interruptions. When you are working on your one thing, literally everything else is a distraction. And protecting this time isn't just a nice idea. It's the only way you're going to get those extraordinary results you're after.
So how do you actually do it? Well, here are 4 simple steps. First, find your bunker. That's a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Second, have your provisions ready. Your coffee, your water, a snack, so you don't have to get up. Third, and this is huge, sweep for minds. That means turn off your phone, close your email, get rid of all distractions. And finally, enlist support. Let people know, hey, from 9 to 11, I'm in deep work mode. I'll get back to you after. It sets expectations and keeps interruptions away.
And that really brings us back full circle to this one core idea. Big success isn't about doing a million things at once. It's about doing the right thing over and over, building that momentum. It's just a series of small, focused sprints. You just line up those dominoes and knock them down, one by one.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with that one simple, powerful question. After everything we've talked about, I want you to really think about this for a second. What is the one thing you can do, such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? What's your first domino? Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. If this explainer helped you find some clarity, do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe for more breakdowns like this, and maybe share it with a friend who's also trying to get amazing things done. We'll see you in the next one.